Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about my 5th pregnancy, hopefully my 2nd child. I want to give you an update how I have been doing. I will probably do it in several weeks and then catch up until the current point that I'm in. So today I want to talk to you about week 4 through 8. After every week, I will also put a bump picture in there of that week, so I've got everything in one place. And I will also compare it a little bit to my first pregnancy. Starting off with week 4. Like I mentioned in my last video, I found out quite early that I was pregnant again because of that really strong symptoms that I had and just the feeling a mother knows. Well, not all of them, but I know when I'm pregnant. And since I wanted to wait until I tell my husband, I think I was like 4 weeks and 4 days pregnant or something when I told my husband. So I'd known for a while, I missed my period and everything, and those pregnancy symptoms that I was talking about, that I was really moody and I was really losing my cool pretty quickly, those continued, of course, during week 4 to 5. I also noticed those typical first trimester symptoms of beginning. I had a little bit of cramping in my uterus area, probably due to the implantation, the baby growing and stuff. I noticed that I had to pee more often because of that and the higher blood flow that goes through your body. I was so fatigued. I took a nap every time my daughter, she was almost 9 months at that point, I took a nap with her every day because I was just so exhausted and I just couldn't stay awake. I noticed a heightened sense of smell, especially when I changed her diaper. Awful. I don't know how mothers do it. It's awful. Like, I would clamp my nose so I don't have to smell it. It was crazy. I remember having that with her during that pregnancy, but I didn't have a dirty diaper to change every day, multiple times a day, so that was not as bad than this time. Yeah, I also noticed that I was really bloated and really gassy during that week, which is also normal and happened with my daughter as well during her pregnancy. So that was basically week 5 for me. So I will talk about like week 5 up until I am 5 weeks pregnant. That's week 5 for me, because then 5 weeks are over and then I start into the next week. So I will show you the picture now of when I was 5 weeks pregnant. During the 6th week, I noticed, it started a little earlier than that, but during the 6th week, I mainly noticed that my nipples got really sore. I'm still breastfeeding my daughter, so when I breastfed her, it was really hurting a lot, and I was like, wow, I have respect for all the women who breastfeed through pregnancy, because it's hard and it's painful and it hurts. I didn't notice enlarged breasts that much because I was still breastfeeding, but the nipples were really sore. And in addition to that, I also had, again, I have pretty vivid dreams all year long, but during pregnancy they are really extremely real. Like, really, I feel like I'm waking up and I think that it really happened. So that continued through this week. It started in the past week, but then it continued. I had a bit more trouble sleeping during that week because I was so gassy and I had constipation that week, and I always had the feeling I need to go to the bathroom, but I can't. So yeah, I was kind of feeling uncomfortable, lots of cramping in my abdomen, and I was just not feeling well. The round ligament pains started around that point as well, because everything is growing and stretching, and every time I would pick up my daughter or sneeze or cough or anything, it was this sharp pain in the uterine area, and it was just like, I remember that from my daughter and all the previous pregnancies, but I was just like, I forgot how painful that is. And that week I also noticed, because of the heightened sense of smell, that I was not eating as much anymore because everything just kind of sounded I didn't want to eat that much. I had to go to the bathroom often to pee a lot more, but I think I mentioned that in the past week as well. So yeah, overall symptoms basically continued and got stronger through that week. So now I will show you my 6-week bump. What also started that week towards the end was that I was feeling nauseous. That's when my nausea started this pregnancy. Around the same time with my daughter, everything just sounded and I didn't want to eat as much, and every smell was just kind of throwing me off, and yeah, I was just not feeling well. I didn't throw up though, but I was just not feeling well. Right from the morning, I had a little snack right next to my bed, so I would eat first thing in the morning to hopefully feel better. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So yeah, so here's my 6-week bump. Through week 7, I noticed all the symptoms got stronger, especially the morning sickness got stronger throughout the day. It caused me to have a really disrupted sleep because sometimes I would just wake up in the middle of the night, feel super nauseous, and just couldn't do anything about it and couldn't fall back to sleep. So that was really strong in that week. I noticed the shortness of breath as well, especially picking my daughter up and like moving and bending a lot, and I was just like, I can't breathe. And yeah, I remember that with her pregnancy as well. I started really early for me because of that heightened blood flow that goes through your body, and your heart just has to pump way more. So that's totally normal. During week 6 and 7, we actually flew on vacation. It was a 5-hour flight to Gran Canaria on the Canary Islands. And we flew with a 9-month-old baby, so that's exhausting in itself. But then being pregnant that early on, I was so exhausted. It was a good flight though. Like, she was doing really well, and I mean, I had to pee a lot, but it was overall, it was fine. Like, I thought I would feel more sick during the travels, but it was actually okay. We had enough snacks for me, enough water, and we could actually take water on board with us because we had a baby. Nice tip. And so I was feeling okay during the travels. On vacation, it was extremely hot at the beach and the pool and stuff, so I was mostly in the shadow because if it was in the sun too much, I got really lightheaded and really dizzy. So I tried to avoid that. During that week, you know, when you go on vacation, you have different foods and you eat differently. So I noticed there at one point I was only able to eat potatoes and avocado, because everything else just sounded awful and tasted awful, and I was just like eating the same stuff every day to eat something because of the nausea. And yeah, that's what happened during that week. I've continued breastfeeding, and it started to hurt a little more and more, but I was sticking through it. I was like, my baby needs it. And yeah, it was a lot of pinching sensation, and it hurt quite a lot, but it was worth it to do it for my little girl. So that was my 7 weeks. So here is my 7-week bump. And that brings me to week 8. All the symptoms continued through week 8. Lots of round ligament pain, lots of sore nipples. Morning sickness got even worse. I did not throw up still until this point. I was doing okay on that part, but I was not able to eat anything healthy anymore. It just sounded awful and it tasted disgusting. So I was just glad for anything that I could eat, and I would eat that or drink, mostly water though. So lots of lemon water, yay. I was really fatigued. I would sleep every time my daughter would sleep, and my household looked awful, but I didn't care. I just needed my rest. I needed to rest with her so I could be there for her. This week, another symptom started though. I also had it with my daughter, and that was pregnancy acne. I had it on my forehead, on my chin, and I had it extremely bad on my back. So there's not much you can do about it. You can shower every day, but that doesn't really help because it's hormonal. And I knew it would go away eventually. So it's just like, well, I'll have to deal with that now, even though you feel awful and you look awful, but that's okay. It's because of the hormones, and that just shows, in addition to the morning sickness, baby is growing, baby is doing well, everything's fine. So yeah, that was another symptom that started this week. Shortness of breath, heightened sense of smell, round ligament pain, frequent urination, all of that continued, of course, during that week. And I was actually surprised how fast the first 2 weeks went by, especially with the little one. I mean, you're really distracted and you sometimes forget that you're pregnant unless you have those symptoms. So it went by super quickly for me. I will show you my 8-week bump. And that's it for my first few weeks of pregnancy. I will continue talking about the next few weeks in my next bump date. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.